The University of Oregon Law School is a leader in the nation in environmental law. Adell Amos is an associate dean for academic affairs and associate professor at the law school, and she recently returned from working in Washington, D.C. for the Obama administration, and she's doing an interview with me. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, Adell. So when did you go back to D.C. and when did you return to Eugene?
So I started my political appointment in Washington, D.C. in September of 2009.
Okay, and then you came back in June.
And I just returned to Eugene in June.
Okay, so especially today, you're probably grateful that you're in Eugene instead of Washington, D.C. because the weather's so awful back there.
The weather is quite hot in D.C.
So so what was your job back there? How did you get on the list?
I worked as the Deputy Solicitor for Land and Water Resources at the Department of Interior, and that's a long title. But I worked.
I thought that title at the U was pretty long.
My title in D.C. was actually longer. So I gave legal advice and policy advice to the Secretary of Interior, which is a cabinet level secretary, and the Department of Interior houses the National Park Service and the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Bureau of Land Management, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and Bureau of Reclamation, various agencies. And I worked particularly on water issues and quite a few sort of land-based conservation questions.
Could you kind of pick and choose, or did they know that this was your specialty?
Well, this solicitor did something really interesting. The legal shop for the department, at the head of it is the solicitor who's Senate confirmed. I was not Senate confirmed. I was at the next level down of political appointee. But she did something really different and innovative, which was she organized us by substantive areas of law, not by agency. So it was a very exciting job for me, given my research and background and what I teach, in that I was the water lawyer for the department. So my work cut across all the agencies inside the department. So I got to work with nearly all of the bureau heads inside the department and all of the other assistant secretaries, and then of course with the Secretary of Interior on primarily water issues, and like I said, some land-based conservation things like wilderness policy and the National Landscape Conservation System. So.
What a sense of accomplishment. This is what you've been teaching, this is what you've been kind of like preparing for the whole adult life, and then you get this appointment. So it must have been cool. As far as when you thought, this is a cool job, when did you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm really in Washington, D.C., this person is really listening to me?
Yeah, it's an amazing job, and given what I teach and the work that I do, that's DC.
There you are in Washington, D.C.
Given what I teach and the work that I do, there's actually no other job that could have been a better match for my background. It was such a privilege and an opportunity. It was hard to turn it down. Water, and so that piece of it was fantastic. And you know, all of the national water issues. I mean, we have many right here in Oregon: the Columbia River, the Klamath Basin, the policy issues on the Colorado River. You know, to be in the room where those decisions are made was really exciting.
And at the same time, you were raising a daughter, a 1-year-old.
A 1-year-old. So when I got the call to come to Washington, my daughter was 1. That's her there, Eleanor.
This is in the interior.
That is in the interior building. That's the front of the interior building. That's my husband, Brian. And so it was a really interesting experience with a 1-year-old. She's 3 now, and it was wonderful. But the administration and the leadership in the administration is very supportive of families. The First Lady in particular has very strong views about the women who served in the administration and their role as mothers.
Did you ever
and
get
supporting
to meet
them
her?
as family? I did. I was at a conference at the White House, and I got to meet the First Lady, which was amazing.
Did you ever meet
incredible.
the president?
I did not. I was at a lot of events and parties at the White House, but at the level I worked at, your goal was to kind of stay out of the president's office and not end up there.
Right. So you came back.
Yes.
I mean, you're now back in the University of Oregon.
I am, yep.
And so what's left for you to do?
Oh, I'm really excited about what's left. In fact, my colleagues back in Washington always teased me about getting back into the classroom. I literally would keep a list of stuff that I wanted to teach in the classroom. So I really hope to translate this experience back into the classroom, back into legal education, and have it benefit law students at the University of Oregon.
Oh, I'm sure that people will be thrilled to sign up for your classes.
Let's
Thank you
hope
so much for stopping by.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
it.
for
Good to
having me,
meet you.
Shelley.
Yeah. Yes, of course. We'll be right back.